Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. How's everybody doing today? I hope you had a fantastic weekend and the New Year's treated you right. This was a fantastic weekend. It was a fantastic holiday. Wherever you may be around the globe, I want you to be encouraged to maximize your potential. That's the theme for this month. Maximize your potential. It might even be the theme for the year, Tiffany, to maximize their potential. Because it's very important, especially when people thinking about writing their books. We want you to be more than intentional. We want you to get it done this year. We want you to stop leaving money on the table. We want you to really think about what you are doing, not just writing aimlessly, but think about what is your book going to be about, and who are you going to target? That's very important, and that's something that we're going to be talking about today. But as we leading into this morning, put it this way, Tiffany, as we leading into this morning, I'm Gertrude J. Chapman, your number one inspirational book coach, and I teach you how to maximize your potential and stop leaving that money on the table. Teaching you how to not to be overwhelmed, teaching you how to write your book the proper way. Not just, thinking about, well, I'm going to write a book, and maybe you're confused over there. Maybe you're overwhelmed because you don't know exactly how to write it once you get started. And also to teach you how to not, waste your time. And then, sit around thinking, well, I did this wrong, and you have spent all this extra money, and now you have to go back and redo it. So these are some of the things that we do. And, with that being said, Tiffany, introduce yourself. And we're going to because I want to get into this, because I know that this is going to be something, very important for the people, because we answering questions that people have asked in the past. And I find myself trying to get ahead of myself. So I'm going to have to hold it back until you introduce yourself.
Hold on, let me reel you in. Hold on. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am Tiffany Rochelle. I am your heart and goal coach here. I specialize in encouraging women for ridding the toxins of their heart and setting goals that are true to you. So as Ms. Gertrude said, we have a fabulous show, not only today, but this week. So I'm not going to give you a super extra long introduction of myself. You can read that in the comments. So feel free to go ahead and look at that. And speaking of comments, please interact with us via comments. Let us know if you do have any questions or concerns, or if you just really want to chime in, those hearts, those likes, those inspirational thoughts, depending upon which network you're on, if you're going to give us the light bulb or whichever. But those interactions, those help us. So if you will, go ahead and write in the comments and let us know. Let somebody else know what show that you're watching by sending them a tag in the comments section. And or if this is something that you're really enjoying and it's something that's really touching your spirit, please feel free to share this program with somebody else and let it be a blessing to them as well. So with that being said, we are about to start Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. So back in your hands.
Yes. Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. And, I'm just so excited for the people that, have been, and good morning, Regina. How you doing today? That's been joining us each and every day, picking up these nuggets. And a lot of them say, it's really helping them in their book writing journey, because truly, everybody, it's a journey. It's a journey. It's something that when you start, that you just don't want to stop, because, it gets so interesting. The more you get into it and you start walking on this journey, the more interesting it gets, Tiffany, because the more things open up. I hear from people, they say, well, I never thought of it that way. But we have been dropping tips on here. We've been dropping nuggets. We've been telling people, different things. And really, they're beginning to understand. They're beginning to understand that it's something that they shouldn't take lightly, something that they should consider, and look at it as something that they take seriously. because with this on this book writing journey, you have a great responsibility of teaching people and showing people, and helping people along their pathway, because a lot of times we think, and this is human nature, we think that everybody know what we know, but that's not necessarily true. They could be under the same teacher, they could be in the same auditorium, they could be wherever, and they hear it differently. Everybody hears things differently. Everybody receives things differently. And everybody don't understand things. They may say they understand, but they really don't understand, And since we've been doing this show, we've been hearing from people. And I thank you for, we thank you, put it this way, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us each and every day. Because this is something that we, aim to do to help you maximize your potential. Because so many times I see it, with women, they don't maximize their potential. They just do enough, they just do so much just to get by. Because, and not saying that they're lazy or anything of that nature, they're just tired. You know what I mean, Tiffany? They involved in so much, so they just get tired, they just do this and they put all their heart into what they're doing, but they don't take it to beyond those limitations or beyond those boundaries, okay? They just leave it right there. But these shows are going to stretch you. These shows are going to give you a different perspective of how you have been seeing things in the past. These shows are going to enlighten your understanding so you can understand things in a deeper level and really understand your value of who you are and what you have to bring to the table. Because I don't care in what sector you are or, who you may be. And what I mean by that, that means what job you're doing or whatever, you have value. You have worth. And you're not your situation. You're not your circumstance. And, this is the beginning of the new year. This is what, the third day. And if you haven't done your affirmations this morning, if you haven't gotten into that quiet place and look yourself deep in the eyes in the mirror and begin to talk to yourself and begin to frame your day, this is a good time to begin those things, because it's at the top of the year. Because what we say to ourselves has a lot of weight. It's not what other people say about us. It's what we say to ourselves each and every day. Each and every day. And a lot of times we say things to ourselves and we'll think things and we'll say it to ourselves. We'll speak it out. And that causes, Tiffany, that causes people to devalue themselves. Okay? Devalue themselves. And then that carries on into the message, into their books and different things like that. And that's why they think, well, I don't, nobody's interested in what I have to write, And again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But that's something that stuck with me that I wanted to bring to the audience attention. Do not devalue yourself, because we're starting off at the top of the year. We're talking about what is today, goal setting challenge. Okay. Challenge, not competition with somebody else. Challenge to get you on the right, in the right place to write your book and do it the right way. You're going to challenge yourself each day. You challenge yourself to be better than the day before.
Mm-hmm. That's good clarity. Mm-hmm. That's good clarity, because sometimes we'll hear the word challenge and we feel like it's a challenge against somebody else or we're competing with somebody else. No, your competition will be with yourself. It's you doing something better than you did before. You're challenging yourself. You're setting yourself up with some goals and things that you want to do. So it's a challenge to become better. It's a challenge for you to transition out of your comfort zone. It's a transition for you to start doing better, because again, this is the top of the new year. We're the third day into a new year and the third day into a new month. So it's time for you to challenge yourself and make sure you create a habit that causes you to be a better you. So, and that's the catch, is that once you do something consistently, that's what it does, is creates a habit. So we have consistently done some things that have not been beneficial for us. So it's time to challenge ourselves at the start of the year to do better. Challenge yourself to be greater. Challenge yourself to be the best you that you can be. And you're going to be that, but you have to be consistent with that. So here's your challenge to become a better you. So challenge.
The challenge is there. Yes, as Regina said, sometimes we dim our lights for others. No, this year you're not dimming your light, okay? You're not dimming your light. They're going to have to put on their shades. You're not dimming your light. None of us are dimming our lights, okay? Don't dumb down, as they say, and I don't want to use that word, but that's the word that's, trends among the young people. Your brilliance, okay? Don't take your brilliance down to meet somebody else, okay? Either they accept you or they don't. They accept you or they don't. But don't dim your light for others. It's not the time to fit in. It's the time to lead. It's not the time to fit in. Too many people have tried to fit in instead of taking responsibility and leading the way, being that pioneer in their field. No, in this year, this is something that, what comes out of you, out of your writing, out of your message, this is something that nobody has ever seen before, okay? Trust me. You creating something out of your core. You have to pay attention. Those who have an ear to hear, listen. Listen to that inner voice inside of you. Nobody has ever seen this before. But this is something that's going to lead them out of whatever dilemma that they may be in. So, no, we're not dimming our lights for nobody. Not dimming our lights. Not for anybody.
I'm not at all.
And we are not. She said, I will not be my situation and circumstances. No, will not be. And that's a good one. She said she will not be her situation and her circumstance.
Regina, I don't care what you say. You must have seen what I was getting ready to post earlier today. I don't care what you say because you all in my message. So you need to get out of it. You tapped in, daughter. You tapped in. Okay, now I don't mean disrespect by calling you daughter. That was just my church girl side coming out. Okay, I understand and I reverence and respect you and your.
But that's the truth, huh? Because what she said,
true.
Yeah.
Do not.
That's right. She's done with dimming her light. She'll no longer look for happiness outside of herself. I will be within myself from now on. And that's what you do, Regina. You be within yourself from now on. You're not looking for happiness on the outside. And that's for everybody. Thank you for those points, because that's not only for Regina. Thank you for interacting with us and bringing those points out, because you saying it and somebody else may be thinking it and they're not saying it,
And then you saying it,
bringing those things up.
You're right. But even with her saying it, somebody may not even think of it that way. So by her saying it that way, that encouraged somebody else, because it could be somebody's thought, or it could be something that somebody, you know what, I didn't even think of it that way. So it's a beautiful thing when you guys interact with us, because it's something that maybe we didn't touch on, or it's something that, because what we're doing is reaching our audience. You are the audience. So you are helping us and you are reaching as well. So thank you. Appreciate you.
That's why we love Miss Regina, because she's always there on time and she's always bringing another perspective. And that's why it's so good to have our audience interact with us,
Absolutely. So
good. That is so good. Yeah, and that's a great thing. That's a great thing to bring forth. This is a new year, a new time. But we're talking about goal setting challenge for the authors. And it moves us into decide what you want. You have to decide what you want as an author. Decide what you want. And we're talking about that message. We're talking about, the best audience for that message. We're talking about what you want to write and to reach your audience, your ideal audience. Because again, we say that, and this is it. We're not talking about, you write not from your point of view, but from your audience's point of view. So when I'm talking about decide what you want, decide what angle you want to use. Decide what audience do you want to use, because out of your core, You know, we talked about this, Tiffany. You never run dry. You have something inside of you that'll never run dry. That well will never run dry. There's no lack of brilliance inside of you. There's no lack. So that's why you have to decide on what you want to write. Decide on that audience that you want to reach. Decide on that message to reach that ideal audience, you know? And that's something, that's a part of goal setting. You know, you just not writing aimlessly. You're writing with strategy. You're writing with a purpose. You're writing to reach a certain group of people. And how you're going to strategize that, how you're going to present that, what you're going to do, you know, all of those things. Decide what you want. You know, that's the first thing. The first step in writing the book. Decide what you want to do.
Absolutely.
You know?
True statement.
Not what somebody else wants you to do. Okay? Because that's a lot of times people do what somebody else wants them to do. But what do you want? It's time to decide what you want.
You need to decide.
Have you seen that before, Tiffany?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I definitely see on a regular basis. Is people set goals according to what somebody else wants for them. A lot of goals are set like because my mom wanted me to be a lawyer, or my dad wants me to be a doctor, or my friends ready to be a nurse, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes our goals is set because we want to please somebody else, or somebody else has a vision for our life, and we just may go along with that. And we're not happy in it. We're not fulfilled in doing that because we're doing something that makes somebody else happy. But the minute that you realize what you want to do and that light comes on, it's like it feels so much better. You feel a little more fulfilled because this is what you like. You might like swimming, so you decide to become a swim instructor or a scuba diver instructor. Well, but this is something that you want. You may want to be a construction worker, or you may decide you want to do acting. That's something that you want. That's not what everybody else wanted, but that was a decision that you decided to make. The catch is you have the pen for your life. You are the author of your own story. You get to decide how things will turn out. And the catch is you're a powerful individual because you get to make the decision. Now, granted, I believe in having like an advisory board and or having a trusted individual to speak to in regards to certain decisions that I make for my life. But at the end, the beginning and the middle of the day, and I mix that up on purpose because things just go around in life. At the end of the day, it's still my choice as to what it is that I decide. I can glean wisdom from somebody else, but ultimately it is still my decision as to what I want to do. So I must come, and when I'm saying I, as universally, we must come to the conclusion of we must come to the resolution in our mind as to what we want to do with our life. If we want to go back to school, if we want to buy a new car, buy a house, write a book, be a photographer, whatever it is that we want to do, the choice is ours. We have options, but whatever it is, come to that conclusion and decide what it is that you want to do. Makes sense.
Yeah. It's true. Decide what you want to do. And, you know, I heard a word when you was talking and going back to that, decide what you want to do. And when I was talking about, you know, people framing their day and not devaluing themselves and all of this is tied together, deciding what you want to do.
Sure.
Okay. Remember this. The tongue is the pen of a ready writer.
Come on.
The tongue. Okay. So when you start speaking in this year, begin to have those positive affirmations to speak to yourself, to get yourself and begin to frame your day. And, you know, from framing your day and speaking those positive affirmations, then, you know, that cuts out a lot of clutter, that brain fog, writer's block. So and I apologize for the noise if y'all hear it. Having some construction there. I apologize for the noise. But, you know, then you're able to write those things down. You have a clarity. A lot of times the confusion and the clutter comes from the mindset of the author.
Sure.
And that is translated into the message. But if they would do that, and watch their tongue, bridle their tongue,
Sure.
as they speak to themselves, cast down those imaginations, all those things, those clutters, they will have a smoother day. And it'll help with that message. These are some of the things that you decide, okay? Decide what you want. Decide what you want. Just like Tiffany said, decide what you want. Decide what you want to do. Don't base your decisions based on trying to please somebody else. Just like Regina said about dimming the light. No, we ain't dimming no lights, okay? We ain't doing that. And I know ain't is not a right word, but we're not doing that, okay? We're not doing that this year. Over and done with. Over and done with. This is a brand new year because we have to maximize our potential. And we can't allow anything to hold us back. Want to write a book? Intentional, everything in January. Oh, I'm intentional. I'm going to write my book. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay? But when January 15th comes and then January sliding out, they still haven't written a book. July comes, no book. November comes, no book. December, then we get up until a new year. No. Decide what you want. Decide also, let me see, what do you want your message to achieve?
Sure.
That's another thing. Decide on what you want your message to achieve. Who is that message aimed for? Get that person's picture in mind. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying how, with live streams and different things of that nature, going live and different things. And I say, imagine you're talking to one person. I say, you have no problem talking to me, right? You see me, you have no problem. Imagine just talking to one person. Okay? So the same thing with your book. Imagine, just get a person's picture in your face. Okay? Get it in your mind. And imagine you writing to that one person. That's all you have to do. That's just a tip. Okay? Imagine you writing to that one person. Now you know what they're going through. You know their pain points, okay? How are you going to get your message across to that person? How are you going to solve that person's problem? Decide what you want. Decide how you want your message to reach that person. These are some of the things that, when we setting goals for our book, these are some of the things that we should do.
You're absolutely right about that. Just make sure you make the songwriter said you can get with this or you can get with that. The choice is yours, but you got to make a decision. You got to choose ye this day. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Choose ye this day. It's true.
You got to make the choice. It makes sense. Make the choice and be consistent with it. So you got to make the choice.
Got to make that choice. And let's see. Go to the next one. What was our next one? Our next one is decide what you want. Oh, this is a great one. What are your plans of interaction? How are you going to engage with these people? What are your plans of interaction? You have to think about that. How you're going to engage with them. But before you think about engaging with them, this is another thing that authors do. They're not present. You have to be present. Be present. They're not present.
That definitely matters.
You have to be present, author. Huh?
That matters. You have to be present. That's good stuff.
Yeah, because the interaction, you have to interact with these people. And a lot of time, and these are some of the hindrances that authors face. They don't know how to interact with their audience. They don't know how to be present with their audience. Or this is another thing, divulging too much information. And this program in the one tomorrow is going to be answering questions that people have asked. These things have come on my website. And certain things that people have asked, being present with their audience, how to interact with their audience. And I just told you a great nugget by just imagining that one person.
At one.
Just imagine, yourself writing a message to that one person, and all of those things that as an expert, you're pouring into that person to get them to a place, So you can never be afraid of your interaction. You have to step out there and help, because you already see it. You have to help that person get to where they need to be. You have the plan. You have the steps. You have everything that you need to get them to where they need to be. So you have to plan how you're going to interact with people, and you have to be present.
Have to.
Another thing, this is what I was going to bring up. Another thing is you can't tear down barriers. We talked about this before, Tiffany, about tearing down barriers.
Okay.
As an author, your audience looks to you as a leader. Okay? They're looking to you as a leader. In their mind, that author is that person, okay, who's leading me out of a situation. Now, this is another part of the plan when we talking about these challenges, these goals, okay? An author is never supposed to air their dirty laundry, as they say, in front of everybody. Okay? Because they're looking at you a certain way. It has nothing to do with being authentic. It has nothing to do with being truthful. You just don't tell everybody everything. That's why you have a core, okay? Because now what you're doing now, and we talked about this before, now you taking your hurts, your pains, your whatever, and you writing it in your message, and that's burdening your audience down. You can't do that.
Okay.
You can't do that,
Okay.
These are some of the things that, we talked about on previous, but maybe they didn't get it from these shows, and they wanted us to talk more about it. But interaction now, engagement, being present, being relevant, not airing your dirty laundry, okay? And that has nothing to do with being truthful and authenticity. You don't tell everybody everything. There's a time and a place for everything. That's why you have a core group of people.
Sure.
You have a core group. You remember we talked about the core group. Everybody, your core group of influence, everybody should know everything about you.
Sure. Sure. There are certain things that you just got to keep to yourself, because there's just certain things. Now there is a level of interaction that you do with individuals, because it's a level of relatability, so that you're able to let people know that I can relate to you. But there's just certain things that you don't have to divulge all the inner secrets of it. You don't have to give every single step-by-step detail of whatever transpired. Now, this is a rough subject and this is really tough, but if you happen to be someone that was sexually abused, I don't need to know every single step and what they did and other, but I can tell you, hey, I can relate to you because of this situation, but I don't have to get super graphic with it. Now there are cases where I may be one-on-one with an individual, and but here's where discernment comes in. I might need to tell you I do relate to that, and there is a specific individual that I might have to hit hard with, that okay, this happened to me, and then this, that, and it felt like it happened for hours or whatever. Now, there are certain times you may divulge that, but just doing that in general, that's not necessary and it's not needed. You have to understand when to reserve something. It's okay to be relatable, but you don't have to divulge every single detail in regards to that. But interacting is something super easy, and it's something that I think a lot of times we probably get scared or we clam up against as far as interaction goes, and we'll talk ourselves out of doing it before we have ever even began with it. And interaction is really not super hard at all for us to do. I mean, you got to become comfortable, or I should say, you have become comfortable with not interacting with certain individuals or individuals, period. And depending upon what you do for work, you're probably going to be interacting with people anyway. So if you happen to become a business owner for yourself, why not take that same stamina, that same drive, that same interaction that you do for people on your 9 to 5 job, or if it's part-time, that same energy you may need to make it applicable if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're deciding to go to school in certain things, whatever it is that you're coming up with. You have to do something in the photography or whatever area it is. You got to learn to interact with individuals. And again, it's not hard for you to do. And if you need help with making a plan to do your interactions with individuals, or you need help with setting some of these goals up so that you're able to effectively do it, you got 2 individuals that you're listening to right now that are able to help you set up your plan and help you interact with individuals, because that's something that we have to do on a regular basis anyway. So go ahead and find that link in the chat or what's going across the screen there, and sign up with us. We'll be able to help you on your path to being able to interact with people and to set plans and get your book out there. That's definitely something that we'll be able to do. But don't talk yourself out of being able to interact with individuals, because it's something super simple. It's really not as hard as you make it seem, and it's not as scary, because I mean, you see how we are interacting with each other and how we interact with individuals. It's really not that hard. And even if you are one of them people that don't like talking or interacting with individuals, it's still not super hard, because I mean, there's a few questions that you could just ask an individual and it's a whole new world. So again, I can't tell you all the secrets. I really can't. But if you want to know more details on how to be able to open up and interact, again, utilize one of our links and we'll be able to dive a little deeper. Did I do that right?
You did it right. You did it right.
We'll be able to dive a little deeper. So we'll go ahead and help you out with that.
Yes, good morning. We have a YouTube viewer this morning. I can't pronounce your name, but thank you for joining us. Good morning, Jean. Thank you for joining us this morning on Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. But it's so important, it's so important to tell people this, can't break those barriers, because people, your audience, they look for you as an author. They look for you as their leader, as that person that's leading them out of a situation. So you have to be careful with what you do and what you say and different things of that nature. Being an author is very powerful. And then we're talking about programming. Okay, let's talk about programming. Let's talk about that consistency. Got to have that consistency. And as we are at the top of the year, programming the mind, okay, to not do those same things, make those same mistakes as you have done in the past. When we're talking about that goal-setting challenge for authors, there's things that you got to challenge yourself to do that I'm going to do better, and that you're going to pay attention to the things that you could have done better, but you didn't do better. But this year, right now, you're going to pay attention. You're not just going to be intentional about it. You're going to get it done. Okay? You're going to pay attention to your mind. You're going to pay attention to your mouth, your speech. Okay? When I talk about your mind, I'm talking about those thoughts. You're going to pay attention to your message. You're going to pay attention to, those topics that you have inside of you, those messages. You're going to pay attention to the pain points of your ideal audience. You're going to program your subconscious mind to just not present. Here we go, Tiffany, not present. You got to be present, okay? You got to be present. You can't live in the past. You can't worry about the future. You have to be present to be relevant. What's happening now? What do I need to address now? What can I pull from my core now in order to help this certain audience that I have? Because look, we have a multitude of information inside of us, of knowledge inside of us. Okay? What can I use to help this individual, this ideal audience now. You remember we talked about the best audience for that message, the best audience. We have a lot inside of us. Who do I want to target? Decide what you want to write. Who do I want to target? You know, program that mind to think differently. Maximize your potential. No longer am I just going to get by. No longer am I just going to give out. No longer I'm going to give up. No longer am I going to hold myself back. No longer am I going to be mediocre. No longer am I going to think of myself as insignificant. None of those things. None of those things. Maximize your potential. Okay? It's time to stop devaluing yourself and begin to see your value. Okay? Begin to see your value. Begin to reprogram your mind to see your value. Okay? Let some of those things that you've been believing, you know, bury those things. Okay? Get them out. Don't even think about it. Forget those things. Right, Tiffany? Forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward for those things that are before. Because there's more good things in front of you, but you got to let those things in the back just go. Just bury them. Just cut yourself loose from them. You know? Have a different mindset. Program your mind to think differently. And stop thinking on what you can't do and what's not possible for you. And stop not seeing yourself as you could sell 1 million copies of your book. Why 1 million copies is not that much, y'all. And making $1 million is not that much either. I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you one time. Matter of fact, we're going to do that in our, when we do those workshops, Tiffany. Matter of fact, we're going to do it then. We're going to teach them how $1 million is very achievable.
It is extremely achievable.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's so far, but you know, $1 million is very achievable. Mm-hmm. It's not that far.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's real life.
Program your mind to think differently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to program your mind to think different because apparently the programming that you have right now is not set as proper programming. And so again, like you said, you're worrying about stuff that happened past tense. Past tense isn't doing anything for you. So stop worrying about tomorrow, because tomorrow has enough worry in itself. It has enough in itself for then. So don't worry about tomorrow. It'll take care of itself. So be present right now. In your present, you need to do some reprogramming of your own, and you need to do some reprogramming of your mind. It's not super hard. And once you know what it is that you have to do, that's when it becomes easier. Once you know what it is that you have to do. If you apply for a particular job, you start reading the qualifications that it asks you to do so that you'll know exactly, can I achieve this? Or I'll be able to do little things of this right here, but I can't do all of it. Can you train me to do certain other things? Same thing with your life. All you're doing is just programming yourself. Certain things you know how to do, you might need to fine tune, like you have construction going on. What you have going on there, it works, it fine tuning it and making it better. So that's all you really have to do is just take that opportunity to fine tune some things, to program or reprogram, because that programming that you have there is just not working. Programming is basically the action or the process of scheduling something, or unless you're a computer programmer, then you're kind of like writing certain things together to do it. But basically all you're doing is just basically scheduling how things need to happen, how things are to air, actions that you need to make and take place. Ms. Gertrude is a beautiful example of a programmer. She's wanting to make sure that she schedules all these shows that we're able to see and view here. She's a beautiful programmer. I only am a programmer in that aspect as far as scheduling certain stuff just on Sundays. However, on a daily basis, we all are programmers, because we are the ones that's taking action and making actions happen on our life. So we are the ones to set daily schedules as to what it is that we're supposed to do. And that could be a problem, because maybe some of us aren't actually scheduling actions that we need to do. When you wake up in the morning, what is your daily routine? Do you have a daily routine? If you're working a job, you may get up, you take a shower. You got a certain amount of time to do your face, your makeup, your hair. Got to get dressed and get out the door before you get to your particular. That's a part of programming because you have programmed your day as to say this is what's supposed to happen. I go to work at this particular time. I go to lunch at this particular time. I'm off at this time, and then the rest of the day happens. That's all a part of it, and we make things seem super difficult. And it's really not as difficult as it is. If something for you isn't working within that schedule or that reserved time that you have, change it and reprogram yourself to make it work and to make it happen for you so that things flow smoother. The unfortunate thing is sometimes we don't want to take out the time to figure out what's working and what's not working. But to make your life beneficial, take that small amount of time, because it may only take 5 minutes for you to figure it out. Take that small amount of time, invest in yourself to make the rest of your life better. Maybe it might inconvenience you in your right now, but it will make the rest of your life a whole lot better.
And that's so true, huh? It is so true. Don't worry about that inconvenience, because what we're talking about, goal setting challenge, okay? Challenge ourselves to always do better. Always do better. Oh, that's so important. Just like we're challenging ourselves. And I apologize, for all the noise, y'all. Got construction going on over here and, trying to get the roof done and different things. Got a challenge. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's a challenge with the noise and the computer, the screen. It's a challenge today, but we hanging in here. Here's another one. Plan your day. Plan your days, okay? Just don't get up in the morning and say, oh, well, I'm going to do it now. Plan your days. Set time aside to plan your day, Arthur. Set some time aside to plan your day, okay? Plan your day. And don't over-plan your day. Only do things that are achievable to accomplish in that day. If it's only 2 or 3 things and you get those things accomplished, it's one thing starting something, Tiffany, but the grand thing is finishing. Many people start things, but they don't finish it. Finishing is the key. So don't overwhelm yourself, Arthur, with 10 things. Okay. Oh, I done planned my day. I got 10 things here I'm going to do. And you could barely get 2 of them done.
Wow.
Learn how to plan your day. That's a part of framing the day. That's a part of you flowing your day. When you do the things that you do every day is the way you live every day. If I could say it this way, I'm trying to think how I'm going to say this, is the way you're going to do everything. Okay.
Sure.
You're going to do everything. If you're used to not planning your day, if you're used to being spontaneous, if you're used to not planning and you're just doing things just to do things, what's the sense of that? That's the way you're going to do everything. We plan our days so we can be productive.
Sure.
We plan our days so we can maximize our potential.
Absolutely.
There's a time and a place to be spontaneous. And those are in those little things that don't really matter, Oh, well, let's go to the restaurant. Let's go out of town, things like that. But most of all, you plan what you're going to do.
Sure.
Because you want to be productive. You can't live your life spontaneous all the time. And that's what a lot of business owners, that's what a lot of authors do. They live their life being spontaneous. You have to learn how to plan. If you don't plan, well, number one, you ain't got no goals. If you're not planning, you don't have even a goal.
Sounds like if you don't plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah. No plan. So where you going? Where are you going? It's just like getting in the car and not knowing where you're going. Just sitting there. Well, I'm going somewhere, but not knowing where you're going. And you're sitting there with a car that don't even have any gas in it. So where you going?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
You better go to the gas station. That's right.
Go to the gas station. So that's at the top of the year. What? Oh, I'm gonna be intentional writing my book. I'm gonna be intentional writing my book, and you haven't got your book written because you didn't plan. You gotta plan your days, and you can't overburden yourself. You have to do things that are achievable for you. Okay, if that means one or two things, as long as you could get those things done, that's good. Because you see, that's a devalue. That's where people devalue themselves because they can't get it done, and now they're thinking all kind of ways about themselves, and you can't separate yourself from yourself. Okay, who knows you better than you? And when that subconscious mind kicks in, who's condemning you except your mind? You're not being true to yourself. Plan your days, y'all. Plan your days and don't overburden yourself. Stop devaluing yourself. Live up to your promises. If you say, and don't compete. That's another thing. Well, I see Tiffany and Gertrude, they have 5 things. They have 10 things and they get them all done. Don't compare yourself to us. We are 2 separate individuals. We don't compare ourselves to each other. You have to do you. You have to do what's right for you, what's best for you. Put it that way, what's best for you. Absolutely. People always trying to live on somebody else's time clock. Their race. Each of us have our own race on our own time clock. You have to plan your days, Arthur. You have to plan your days and only do those things that you can achieve. If you can't do but one thing a day to get that achieved, so be it. As long as you achieve it, as long as you finish that thing, that's a great improvement. And until you build up your capacity to receive more and to do more, and that's another thing. Always build. Don't stay there. Always build upon that. So you could, you could have more. You could house more.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You see where I'm going, Tiffany?
Absolutely. Yeah. Planning makes sense. And it's something that we absolutely need to do. I mean, it's inevitable. And it's easier for you to take a few moments out of a day and make a plan for yourself versus you just going by a whim and then making stuff happen. And then you're going to be like, oh, I don't have enough time in the day. There's 24 hours in a day. You have time. How you choose to spend it is on you. Now, I definitely believe in being spontaneous for certain stuff, certain things. I know there's times that I can possibly be spontaneous. As Ms. Gertrude was talking about, that spontaneity, that matters. I'm able to be spontaneous, or I know I can do certain things because I have already planned out my day. So if I have my day planned, I know I need to reach out or I need to respond to these people. I got a certain schedule. I got X, Y, and Z. I got to meet with these guys. I got whatever it is that I have on my schedule. I have a schedule. I have a plan for my day. So if I need to be spontaneous or I just want to go do something, let me look at my plan and let me see, okay, I can take off and I can go do this. All right. You know what? I'm able to work this around or whatever, because I can do this later on in the day. I could get this done. Let me do this real quick, knock it out. And then I'm able to go ahead and make whatever happen. I'm able to do those because I have planned out my day. If I didn't take that moment out to plan out my day or even plan out my week, I'll just go even to that extreme, then I won't know when I can possibly be flexible. But I can't, and we can't stress enough. Plan. Ms. Gertrude has her goals. She writes the circle. And if it doesn't fit within the circle, and it's out there, she eliminates it. For me, I make my plan. I have this, what I want to do, this, what I do. And I got sub bullets that I have underneath there. And then once I check those off. So it's satisfying because I know what I have to do. I see what I have to do. I check it off and it feels good once I check it off. It makes me feel a whole heck of a lot better because I see what it is. I know it. And if I wasn't able to achieve it in that particular day, I don't get mad at myself. I just move it to make sure that I accomplish it that day. I didn't fulfill it on Monday, but Tuesday, this has to get done for real. And I'm putting that at the top of my list to make sure that gets done. So it's something that I had to do. Maybe I didn't manage my time well, or that whatever it was that I planned in that day, it may have taken a little longer for me to do. So it was something that I couldn't do that day. But for sure, that next day, that's at the top of the list. But you have to make sure you put out a plan for your life, for your day, and for your week, so that you're able to know, oh, I can go on vacation. I can. That's what I can't take time out for vacation. Sure, you can. If you put a plan in place, then you'll know you'll be able to take time out on your vacation. But you have to take time to plan. Have to.
That's true, huh? That's so true. Because it's what? It's a writing journey. It's a writing journey. And you have to take time. And that brings us right to what our final one. What?
And I like that.
Weekly review. Weekly review.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, she said, Jean said, for the value you provide, thanks for the value you provided today. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Very welcome. How the subconscious mind, she said, speak on that, the subconscious mind and how it controls us. Great advice. Plan your day and be organized. Those are some of the things. Plan and be productive is what she said. And that's so true. The weekly review, because that weekly review lets us see of that, what has happened during that week. And if we should keep those things, or change those things or dismiss those things. But, that's all a part of being accountable. That's all a part of responsibility and being accountable. And yet, and she even said something up here about growth, because that is a part of growth. Okay. That is a part of growth. And as an author, trying to see where I can find it. As an author, we are supposed to grow. We don't stay the same. Yeah.
And I'll even go to the extent of regardless if you're an author. Huh?
Yeah. It's in a growth moment. Yeah. What you were saying?
I was saying, regardless if we're authors or not. Well, because we all are authors, because we are the author of our story or of our own life, we all should be growing, period. That should just be a way of life in totality, is I am looking to grow. I never, even though my height isn't going to change, I still want to grow in knowledge. I still want to grow in interacting with people. There's a whole lot of things that we can learn to do. I want to learn how to stay in with the in trend or whatever it is. Always be a student of growth. Always be a student of learning. We have to always grow. And it's very imperative that we do. I don't ever want to stop growing. I never want to stop growing. I always want to stretch myself and be able. I may not be your go-to and know every single thing, but if you ask me a question and I don't have the answer to it, I promise you I'm going to go investigate. And I'll be able to get back to you with an answer. But I don't never want, and that helps me also. So process of you asking something and I don't know, you just help me to increase me. So I appreciate that. And even if I don't know something, I might be able to go to you and say, hey, how's this? Wait, how does this go? I appreciate being able to interact with individuals and learning something, but I never want to close myself off to feel, oh, well, I've reached my maximum. I know that. I don't like talking to know-it-alls. I cannot stand talking to someone who has their maximum and I already knew that, or I'm just shut off and I don't want to know. I'm glad you showed me early on that you shut off. I'm not going to even waste my time. I'm not going to waste my breath with you. Hey, God bless your heart.
That point. That's the truth. The know-it-alls, right? They know everything. I'm not going to even waste my time. Because when that weekly review and knowing things and, and hearing somebody else's perspective or how they see things, and you go do research and stuff and say, oh, I never thought of it this way. Oh, this can enhance me. Let me try it this way. And a lot of times, girl, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, because you've been doing it that way. And not somebody else, but I never thought of it. I'm going to use this from now on, It's a good thing. So that's why those weekly reviews, instead of, not reviewing. And, as we do these things and get these things into practice, it'll help our audience anyway. Because what? We're leading our audience. And if we lead, the leader has to do it. Okay,
Has
you can't tell people, oh, you're supposed to do things this way, and if you're not doing it, you have
then
to
what?
first do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, because you're the leader, and we have a great responsibility. These are people's lives, So do those weekly reviews, that growth. Be productive. Maximize your potential. Because in this year is maximizing your potential. Okay.
It is.
We're maximizing our potential. I'm gonna tell you, we have things stretched. I know, Tiffany, I'm stretched out here. I am stretched out here. I'm stretched out. I'm just gonna tell you, the new year came in with me being stretched.
Right.
It was leaving out with me being stretched. It's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
I'll find time to sleep later sometimes.
We're gonna do better at that.
Between time and sometime and sleep. People, might be sitting around. I got my blanket on me. I'm sitting on the couch sleeping in and out. But that's what you do.
You have to do that. Sometimes you might need to take that midday nap so you could kind of like refresh yourself. And you know what? That's what I need. When we were in our 9 to 5s, we would take breaks then. So regardless of what you did on that 30-minute or hour break, I've always been graced to have an hour break when I was doing that. But whatever I did, I might go to my car. I might take a nap there. Depending upon where I was working at, I might be working close to home. So I'm going to go home. It only takes me 5 minutes to get to work anyway. So I'm going to go home, take a quick power nap, and then I'm going to get up and get right back to work. Either way it goes, sometimes you have to take those moments to take a refresher. So however you restructure that day. But again, that's a part of your planning because you have planned out your day. You know what? I'm tired. I'm going to take me a whole break. I'm going to take me a nap. And even if that means you take a 3-hour break, if that's what you need to do for you, more power to you. But then, by the time you get up, you know what you got to do. It's all part of planning. But hey, if that's what you got to do, take your break. Take your nap. Take a moment. Go watch TV. Do what you got to do. Because I know.
I don't know about that because I don't watch much TV. I don't watch TV, tell you the truth. I haven't watched the news in 2 years. But, when I take my naps, I have my pen and my paper. Okay. Because when I take my naps and I have things on my mind, as I sleep, things come to me. And I get up and I write them down. Or I speak it into my phone.
That's good.
For the program and stuff like that. And those things are, as they say, the higher vibration. I heard Tommy talk about that one time. I said, he's right up in my mindset. And I talk about the higher vibration. But those things work. They come to me and different things. I write those things down because those are very powerful things. Those are very powerful things.
Sure they are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But however you see it. But this is a brand new year. Brand new year.
And start your year off right. This is how we're going to start our year off. We're going to start it off focused. We got a good old challenge for ourselves. We're going to challenge ourselves to do better. We're reprogramming our mind to be a better individual. So the things that we did last year that wasn't working, we're going to make sure that we get things together. So this year we will be able, this year should not be that year. This is going to be my year. This is going to be my year. And then the year progresses and it still isn't your year. Start at the top of the year to make sure you are that individual that you want. It takes work. It's not something that you can think yourself a success. You actually have to put your hands to the plow. It's that faith without works.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to work this out. You're going to have to put your hands to the plow. You're going to have to open your mouth, ask for help, or do whatever. You're not going to be able to fulfill that dream, goal, or aspiration that you have without putting your hands and your mouth to work. You got to do it. So that's a challenge.
That's so true. That's a challenge, but that's the challenge. Goal setting challenge for authors. So y'all got to get ready to jump in, down in the deep. Get out the boat and jump in the deep. And with that being said, I'd like to thank you for, taking your time, or we like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today on turning your passion into profit. And we know that, you're going to be intentional this year, that you're going to write your book, you're going to get it done. And that's what we aim to help you to do, to get it done. So take the information that's scrolling down at the bottom of the screen and follow us over to the Coaches Corner. We'll be over in the Coaches Corner on LinkedIn, and it'll also stream on Facebook. So from Tiffany and I, remember, this is your time, this is your season, this is your turning point. So have a great rest of your day.